All right, no extended intro today. We're going to open up with some breaking news from TMZ.
So we got something in our email that looks like it's written like a ransom note for Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Specific request
and they're very
for certain amounts of money,
very specific.
Bitcoin.
And also they say at the bottom, there are certain things they're saying about what she was wearing and damage to the house.
That they're clearly saying to verify that
it's us.
We know what we're talking about here.
So we've contacted the sheriff's department, and we want to get them this letter. We had a little trouble getting through to the right person, but the person we spoke with is now forwarding this to somebody in the detective bureau. So if my phone rings, I may have to stop. And
what's interesting is, there was just a news conference that just ended with the sheriff, and he was asked about, we're going to do this segment in a few minutes, but he was asked about a ransom note, and he just said, we're following all leads.
Yeah, and this again, we don't know
if
it's
this
authentic,
is legit, right.
if it's authentic or not, but when you read it, they're acting as if, only we would know these things,
right.
And we're serious, and there's a dollar demand and an or else in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we will let you know as this thing kind of develops.
Wow. Right. Yeah, I mean, they did update it saying, I think it was $100 million cryptocurrency demand from Harvey, from his own feed, where they went into a little bit more subtlety, what she was wearing, when she was apprehended, the blood trail. I had a feeling, just a hunch, that this was an old school kidnapping, demanding Bitcoin money. Look, this could be a complete fraud on the part of the people, but Harvey said that there were clues in there that the public would not know, and I believe the sheriff would not acknowledge this, as he did not. Basically, he said, we're following up all these different reports. He had heard reports of a quote-unquote ransom note, but typically in these situations, Eric, you don't want the police coming out ahead of their skis on this.
No, and if this is in fact a kidnapping, then the FBI should be jumping in any time.
Yeah, you're taking it away from him. The sheriff, he was crying yesterday. This is, again, another level of incompetency of weeping law enforcement who have been DEI'd, I presume. They just keep weeping. The pressure becomes too much for them on camera. That's a separate issue. Yeah, just an astonishingly separate issue. All you have to do is state the facts. You don't have to get weepy about it. That's not. It's just shocking. I just think that all the regular top people have been replaced by their DEI counterparts. This guy here.
I grew up there.
This is your neck of the woods, Eric.
No. It kind of kills me to see, because when I grew up, I can't even remember the guy's name, but we had a sheriff, and he was like a sheriff for, I want to say, a long time, many years.
Yeah.
He wasn't known as a crybaby on camera.
Well, this is like the second, third, or fourth crybaby in a row that we've had from law enforcement all over the country. Now, he's getting hammered, Harvey Levin at TMZ, for going public with this. And I was reading the comments. Look, I'm not in love with Harvey Levin and TMZ, but nevertheless, they received this information, and there is a long history. I was telling Eric before the show of media being brought in with ransom notes and ransom demands and kidnappings and political bombings and everything else, all through the post-World War II American history. It hasn't happened in a while, but I was telling Eric, they used to be WBAI, KPFK, received this demand for this, for that, the kidnapping, Patty Hearst. Media was all through that stuff in the 70s and 80s, where they were the buffer between the kidnappers and the authorities, is what I'm trying to say.
Not only kidnappings, but serial killers like
Zodiac, Weather Underground bombings, political communiques, One Battle After Another, which is the current 13 nomination
BTK.
Academy Award winning nominated film. The title coming from a communique by Bernardine Dorn and Bill Ayers through KPFK, BAI, ending up with One Battle After Another, the final statement from the Weather Underground. Anyway, there's a long history of media being utilized to intercede and intermingle between authorities and the kidnappers.
I see somebody complaining this TMZ. Why not TMZ?
Right.
TMZ
Again,
is
right.
popular amongst the whole country. I
That's
mean,
what I'm
would
trying
be
to say.
Arizona Daily Star doesn't have the same distribution as TMZ. TMZ's guaranteed to make it a headline. So maybe that was why their choice, they chose that. If it is in fact the kidnappers or whatever, there's always a possibility of somebody close to the investigation or somebody who knows something about it pulling a prank or a fraud. That I'm not going to, it's possible.
I guess, and I don't know where that's going to get you, but nevertheless, what Harvey seemed to say was there were clues in there about what she was wearing at the time and the furniture within the house, internal details of the house that the public was not privy to. The cryptocurrency demands are the demands. But this is Lindbergh level kidnapping here, Lindbergh baby level kidnapping. That being said, this is not a baby. It's the other end of the age spectrum. But the equivalency seems to me to be quite similar. You've got a celebrity whose mother, in this case, as opposed to the Lindbergh baby back in New Jersey, the mother is now being kidnapped, and it's similar in that regard.
Or Sinatra, if we want to get a little more recent.
Right. No, I mean, I'm saying every 20 or so years, I mean, there are 25 years or so, there are these levels of kidnappings. But I got excited because I have not heard of one of these in decades, Eric. I mean, this happens in Mexico all the time. She's right on the border of Mexico. I believe that may have some influence on this situation.
It could be. And then there were some things going around about how she was really deep into mahjong.
Oh, mahjong.
Mahjong. Sorry. Yeah. And there is like a gambling undercurrent with the game itself. And I mean, I don't know if it means anything.
Well, that would mean Chinese if you go mahjong. My mother was a grand champion of mahjong. My mother was a national champion. So I grew up around mahjong. They send you a new card every year. They were always playing mahjong in my house. My mother and her friends. She would go to these big hotel tournaments at the end of the year. It is a huge thing. I don't know if this is involving mahjong here. That would indicate to me the Chinese involvement in this thing.
It's possible.
Absolutely possible. But I got a feeling this has the earmarks of Mexican drug cartel kidnapping groups taking her south of the border.
The funny thing is, I mean, I don't know about Samantha Guthrie. I mean, obviously she's a pretty well-known TV person, Today and things like that, but not the deepest. It's not like Frank Sinatra pockets. It's not like Charles Lindbergh pockets. So I'm kind of like, it's an interesting target.
In fact, I would suggest that possibly she makes $20 million a year.
Does she?
Dude, she's the #1 face of NBC. She's supposed to cover the Olympics this week. Don't underestimate the pockets of Samantha Guthrie with NBC News. I don't know what they are, but I would not be surprised if it's Anderson Cooper level. And Anderson Cooper is a cable anchor. She's a network anchor.
Okay.
But there are substantial deep pockets there. It's not a bad choice if the mother lives alone on the border by herself, 80 some odd years of age, bad health. She left the Apple Watch, Eric, in the house. So, yeah, as you're well aware, that can tie into her pacemaker, apparently.
Right. It was
right, Eric?
Right. It sounds like she had an app that was tied to her pacemaker, which makes sense if she has an Apple Watch and it was connected via cellular. There are different types of Apple Watches, but if she had that, if something was to go wrong, it could send alerts to her provider if she has something like that, set up.
Wow.
And kind of makes me think of Gene Hackman. Remember, they determined his death time because of his pacemaker. battery.
Well, they
going out,
determined
whatever.
the capture time
Mhm.
based on the disconnect electronically from the Apple Watch. So they know exactly when she was apprehended. So it's coming into play in this case too, Eric.
Yeah, I'd love to know what her neighborhood is like. I'm sure
It
I'm
looked
wrong,
very,
but I'm
it
sure
looked
they're
very
knocking.
rural. It looked very rural.
Oh, okay.
Did you see what it looked like? It looked like a almost near State Park area, completely surrounded by brush. It didn't seem like there was somebody next door, which, of course, again, it comes down to security and leaving your mother in the middle of the woods, you know.
Right, which can be a problem. I was going to say,
Yeah.
you'd be wanting to hit all the neighbors, say, do you have a Ring camera? Do you have any kind of camera? Blah, blah, blah. But if there are no real neighbors
I saw
nearby.
the overhead shot. It was by itself.
Okay.
It was by itself, which is what people want there. You know that.
Well, and it's not so safe. I mean, honestly, that is generally a safe area. Nothing happens in that type of, upscale. If somebody is out there, a lot of the residents, if you get rural enough, are armed.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily.
But they're also elderly and unarmed. We saw Gene Hackman and his wife. I mean, there was nobody who came to their rescue. There's a lot of isolated retirees in that area, separate from what you're describing.
Right. No,
yeah.
I mean, honestly, even I don't know exactly where her house is in Tucson, but like Paul McCartney had a place out there.
I was going to show you the map because I was going to ask you if you knew where this was. In one of the articles I sent you, I think if you scroll down, there's a map for you. I didn't know anything of what the area was, but you might.
I will have to.
Yeah, when you get a chance.
Yeah, I'll look and see because there's different parts of town.
Well, we're going to stay on this story because it's breaking. I just wanted to get that out today, the top of the show because it was breaking tonight.
Oh, for sure. God,
I mean, if they're kidnapping family members of media people, it's not only is it symbolic, but we're entering a new era.
Okay. I've seen this place, and not that specific place, but I've seen this set up a lot, and it's very possible. Just going by this, that there could be neighbors. It's that they lay them out. So depending on how people set it up, there could be some degree of that going on. But I know exactly.
There's that guy. There he is. There's him.
I mean,
that looks kind of ruralish. That when I saw that.
Yeah, but that looks like a place across the street from where I grew up. Well, it's not, but it's kind of a laid out in the way they go. But it's possible.
Okay,
it depends.
Well, they took her at 3:30 in the morning, so
sure.
3:47 or something when she was apprehended.
Right. And that's Tucson, so there's going to be no street lights. It'll be very dark.
Is that true?
Yeah, no, Tucson is very, very dark at night, especially here. This is the Catalina foothills. This if she had kids or Samantha Guthrie, they'd be going to my high school.
Okay.
Most likely.
Well, I knew this had to have a connection to you. That's why I wanted to open with this story. I figured you'd have some info on this thing. I don't know.
But not only are there no streetlights there, but Tucson also has kind of an arrangement because they have telescopes that the entire city has low lights at night, so people can see the sky.
Right. So it's on purpose.
Yes. So where that is at 3 a.m. would have been dead dark. I'm
going to stick my neck out and say Mexican drug cartels, but that's without any information. That's just a hunch on my part.
Right. Somebody say, do a Google Earth and stop assuming. I don't have the address, people.
Let's move on. Let's go to where you wanted to go. Let's go to where you wanted
to go to Earth,
Eric.
Anyway, I had
where you wanted to start.
No, I had another intro. I'll have to track down another copy of that now. But anyway, it was just it was talking about the event. Sorry, Harry Enton, forecaster Enton, came out today, and it was either today or yesterday. And it turns out that voter ID is a bit more of a popular topic than people realize. People are like, "Oh, it's so racist. It's this, it's that." And you would think then, okay, the Democrats hate it, the Republicans love it, but no, it is a factor here.
So voter ID, just so people understand, is the idea that someone shows a photo ID when they go to vote, when they go to cast their actual ballot, because there's a separate discussion right now about needing a passport or a birth certificate to register to vote, but the polling is all on voter ID showing an ID to vote.
Showing a photo ID to vote. And the American people are with Nicki Minaj. Because what are we talking about here?
Oh,
So
Nicki.
take a look here. Favorite voter ID to vote. Look, I got all this polling on the screen going back since 2018. You'll notice on all of it, it's all north of 75%, 76%, 76%, 76%, 81%, and then 83% in the last year of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj.
Wow.
They favor photo ID to be able to vote.
What about by party? What's the party breakdown?
Yeah, normally you might expect, hey, there'd be a big divide by party with Republicans really for it and Democrats really against it, but not really here. I mean, just take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. You got 95% of Republicans, pretty much all of them, but even 71%
Wow,
of Democrats
wow.
favor photo ID to vote. So again, Nicki Minaj posting that on X, and what you see is that the American people, actually, it's not really all that controversial. The American people are with Nicki Minaj, whether they are Republican or even if they are Democrats. We're talking about 7 in 10 Democrats agreeing with Nicki Minaj that you, in fact, should show a voter
Here in
photo
the
ID
Soviet,
to vote.
here in the Soviet Union, they, like I said, the California Supreme Court ruled that Huntington Beach can not only not request voter IDs, if they do, they will be physically arrested. The people in the polls. That's how terrifying this is to the powers that be in the Democratic machine. It is the Achilles heel of their machine. You can see what's happening in Minnesota today. They uncovered a ballot, mail-in ballot printing scandal where they wait for the totals from Minneapolis to come in before they verify the election. They wait for the upstate totals to come in. As I said, this has been going on since going back to LBJ. And it was revealed today in Minnesota that they've been using the same model. Once you take control of a major blue city within your state, and Minnesota being red everywhere else, you can essentially control the state forever by this system. By delaying the tally of the final blue city, you can pull absentee ballots out of your ass until all of these efficient, anal, spectrumy, upstate red secretaries of county registrars turn in their votes totals. As I've said on this show 5,000 times, you have to force the cities to put up their totals before you turn in yours. It's not a revolutionary idea. It's simple chess. They refuse to do it. The Republicans are very efficient, Eric, as you're well aware. They want to go to dinner. They want the count to be over. And all the blue cities say is, thank you very much. Now we have the number that we have to beat. And that's what they do.
Right. Now, let's finish this out real quick. Because he does go in a little deeper.
Racial breakdown?
Okay, what's the racial breakdown on this, right? Because I think a lot of people make the argument that people of color, non-white Americans, have a harder time procuring a photo ID to vote. But even here, take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of Black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The Republicans.
Sorry. Anyway,
well, it is controversial by party because the party in power on the other side is emphatic about not giving it up. Obviously what he's showing is the rank and file voters are in favor of it, but the people who are running the scams, albeit the far left or progressive Democratic wing of the party, are not going to give this up unless they do have forced at gunpoint to do this, because it is part of that machinery on how to develop a long count.
What is there interesting, and let me share the Nicki Minaj tweet, because this is what they were referencing. 51 million views on this tweet. So
wow,
damn viral. What sensible, forward-thinking, cutting-edge leading nation is having a debate on whether or not there should be voter ID? Like, they're actually fighting not to have people present ID while voting for your leaders? Do you get it? Do you get it now?
Right, because in reality, it's not a fight at all, which is what his statistics are indicating. As I've said, nobody's fighting over this. This is about power and control by a Soviet Politburo style of Democrats that are running these blue cities and albeit blue states through that. It is not a fight, quote unquote. They control some judgeships that have crushed this, like the California Supreme Court this week in Huntington Beach. There's no controversy about it. It has to go to SCOTUS. It has to be resolved. They dragged out this Huntington Beach ruling as long as they could to get as close to the midterms as humanly possible, again, attempting to block it for this upcoming midterms. But this has to be resolved finally once and for all by the Supreme Court of the United States.
And guess what? I sent it to you. Maybe it went by, but there was a case that just happened earlier this month. It didn't get a lot of views, but it went to the Supreme Court. I think they kicked it back down, but essentially they were stating that there's an Article 3 right for candidates to sue about the process of how the vote is being counted.
It's saying that
is extremely significant because
it's standing, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
But take your California example, or one of your examples, where you said, hey, they just run it out. Well, now if the candidates are saying, oh no, this is bullshit, I'm going to sue because they're playing games with the deadlines or whatever, there may be hope. That's a pretty important
there may
decision.
be hope. You know, for Eric Swalwell, for instance, who doesn't even live in the state, the Secretary of State of California refused to even acknowledge that he doesn't live here. And he started, this has happened before in the state of California. This same gambit, which has happened before, they just refuse to make a move against a candidate, and he's going to be on the ballot despite Joel Gilbert's clear demonstration that he doesn't live anywhere near the state of California.
Well, he should be able to sue. I'm sure that Gilbert has the ability to sue once he's officially on the ballot. Then, you know, because there are, you know, if it's written in the Constitution that you've got to live there, well, then you have. I would think that Gilbert, whoever does, has absolute standing to sue and say this guy can't even be running, and then maybe the courts can clear it. I don't know, but
well, from Gilbert's point of view, he's not a wealthy man. He's just a researcher and a low-budget documentary filmmaker. But he filed a formal
crowdfund it.
Oh, that I don't know. He filed a formal complaint with the Secretary of State, who, even shockingly to him, I think, just simply ignored it.
True. Well, and then this kind of leads into Trump is now saying he wants to nationalize future elections.
I like that.
And I think that's essentially a part of it. I don't think she's happy about it. Let me see.
Let's see. What's her beef?
Do we really need to say this? I guess maybe we do. Again, the Constitution is not optional. Not if we really are the United States of America. It's the governing document that describes our core values, it outlines our freedoms, and codifies the separation of powers. Now, I know most people hear that term separation of powers and think of the Democratic trifecta of 3 co-equal branches: legislative, the executive, the judiciary. The separation of powers also includes the distinction between.
Boy, she was a little extra smug in her coffee.
Yeah, she got the smug coffee, that new brand at CNN.
I can't handle. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So
I don't know where she's going with this 3 branches argument, but
I mean, it's like, and when did she start caring about the Constitution? I always enjoy that. It's like Alex Preddy. Okay, all of a sudden, all the left became Second Amendment advocates and were all about concealed carry. They loved concealed carry with Alex Preddy.
Well, some people
they hated all the rest of the time, but Alex Preddy, hey, we love concealed carry now.
Flipped the other way, including Judge Pirro, apparently, Eric.
Yeah, well, and that's a story and kind of annoying. I'm blaming Trump on that one a little bit too, because Trump never was really a fan of guns. Throughout his whole lifetime, he went and got the NRA vote, so suddenly became a Second Amendment advocate. But between that and the messaging saying, "Hey, if you are armed anywhere near protest, too bad," it's like, no, that's not how the Second Amendment works.
No.
Even the NRA has had to come out and say
you have to shoot it out. No. You have to shoot it out. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but if Petri, whatever his Petri dish had drawn his gun,
Then
he would
it's
have
all
been,
over. Absolutely.
right. No,
Yeah.
And that's rightfully so. But getting back to the nationalization of the elections, I just wanted to say something, that there are 435 seats up, the entire House. I think it's about, roughly, I'm speaking in general terms, about 435. And there is roughly about 240 days before the election, which means in this plan that I'm trying to lay out to nationalize the elections, and I say nationalize, there is nobody watching this show, including myself, who knows any of these candidates. You couldn't tell me, and nobody around this table here, digital table, can tell me who's running anywhere. The stakes are so high, Eric, to retain the House that I am going to put forth an idea here that will deal with this, I hope, because I believe that if we lose the House, the game's over. And the impeachment will begin the next day. And of course, all the chairmanships revert to the Democratic Party. And everybody knows what happened last time. So there's two ways to go. You can concede the House and concede every single election and focus on what you're doing right now, saying politically, we're not going to be able to retain the House. That's a decision you can logically make. And some presidents have done that. Or you could fight balls to the wall over retaining the House. So there's basically two choices. Either go batshit crazy or give it up and keep doing what you're doing. Now, what are you doing? You're interested in Greenland. You're interested in Iran. You're interested in Minneapolis. You've got all kinds of different things you're dealing with. What I'm suggesting is he gives them all up until after the midterms and just focuses on the midterms. So how do you do that? Each day you take two candidates out of the 435 candidates and you publicize these two particular candidates. Trump and the vice president, of course, are above the Hatch Act. It doesn't apply to them. They could do whatever the hell they want. During his first term, I think he was cited with the Hatch Act about 17 to 30 times. Nothing ever came of it. This is a toothless act. What I am strongly suggesting is every single day until the midterms, he takes two of these candidates and lets us know who they are, where they are, and how we can get them money and support. I don't know who's running in Des Moines, Iowa. I don't know who's running in Massachusetts. I don't know who's running in Florida. I'd like to know. I have no clue. I can't depend on the RNC. The only people I could depend on right now are the vice president and the president of the United States. And what I'm suggesting is they put together a full assault on the midterm elections or forget the whole thing. Either way, you're either in it completely or you're completely out of it, conceding that you're going to lose. And there's one or two choices to make. The worst choice is to muddle around in the middle somewhere, doing all these things, having these incredibly anxiety-provoking arrests in Minneapolis and in New York and everywhere else, and threatening the Latino vote and whatever you want to say about it. Is it correct? Absolutely. Is it legal? Absolutely. Are Latino mothers freaking out because their breadwinners are being dragged away? Abso-fucking-lutely. So what I suggest is you do it quietly, not on camera, behind the scenes, lowbrow until after the midterms, then go batshit crazy again after the midterms, and you focus on these midterms. Now, he says he's going to go out on the stump, Eric, which is great. He's definitely going out on the stump, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Nobody's going to cover his stump speeches other than Newsmax. You know what I'm saying? So for him to go into St. Louis, Missouri, or Des Moines, Iowa, or into Abbott, Texas country, it's not going to have any effect on me and you who are looking to nationalize these congressional races so we can help them out. I sent to Eric a bunch of texts that I get from national Democratic sources every time there's an incident like what's been happening in Minneapolis, demanding money from me. There is the next special election, which is in Georgia, to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene, for instance. There's 20 Republican candidates. There's one black Democratic candidate. And guess who's texting me all day long? The black Democratic candidate for money, citing ICE and all this other stuff. And we do not have the same situation that they have. We have 20 people running around like chickens without their heads. Trump has got to pick one and he's got to focus on it and let that be. But that's a separate special election. The election in Texas, which was a special election, was might have been a 37-point swing because Trump had won that area by 17 points. And some machinist Democrat who worked in the defense industry down there won the seat by like 17 points. So it doesn't bode well. What he's got to do
Who the hell
is
was running as a Republican, though? That, I mean, were they
whatever. I
asleep?
mean, to lose by those numbers, you have to be. In other words, he was nobody either. It wasn't like he was a famous country music star. He was a machinist, for Christ's sakes. To beat whoever it was by 17 points is insane. But you got to utilize the message and say, look, obviously there's something going on here. It's probably the high visibility of the ICE protest and everything else is what my gut is telling me. So turn that off. Turn that switch off. Forget about Greenland for 10 fucking minutes. Forget about Iran for 10 minutes. Forget about all this shit for 10 minutes until the midterms. Focus on every day 2 particular candidates of the 435 for 230 days straight. Give us the information, where to send the check, who we support. Tell us the names. We just want the fucking names. Tell us who to vote for. We couldn't give a rat's ass who they are at this point. We need the information to defeat them during the midterms, Eric. And we don't even know. We're like running around like a chicken without our heads. I don't have no idea who's running in Alabama. No idea who's running it down there. No idea who's running in Nashville, Tennessee. We need to have every piece of information so we could support all 435 of these Republicans for the midterm. I don't know if you think this is nuts or what, but it seems completely obvious to me.
Well, you and I have talked offline, and I'm the one who, well, offline, I don't know if we've said it on here or not. I've been saying, get the low-hanging fruit. You know, like, I'm not saying you're not saying shut down ICE operations, but like go to West Virginia here, go get these people out of the prisons. Nobody's arguing with that. And just there's lots of things that you could be doing quietly in the background, getting them out, and then continue with what you're saying there. So then you could double, shoot it and say, hey, we've, deported 50,000 ex-criminals, 60,000 ex-criminals.
Right. I agree. They've already done an amazing amount of work, and there's plenty of stuff you could do with the low-hanging fruit even now quietly. However, what I'm talking about is take the media oxygen out of the room and focus on one goddamn thing for this president. Stop being the president of all media every single day. I don't care that he's suing Bad Bunny. I don't give a shit about the Kennedy Center. Forget about it. It just distracts. Focus on this one thing. This thing
and
is
affordability.
Forget about anything.
No, he's going to focus on the Americans. I mean, one of the big problems that everybody has is show the candidates, talk about who the candidates are, but then also give a damn reason why to vote for them and say, this is going to help your bottom line, your pocket, and your groceries on your table.
He doesn't need help to find these candidates. He knows how to do that. Believe me. We need to know who these candidates are. He can handle the rest of it. He can go have a rally for them and everything else. The American people on the conservative side need to know who to send $5 stinking to. And right now there's 435 people running, and we don't know one person who's running for re-election or for a new election on top of that, because a lot of them are retired, Eric, as you're well aware. And I'm not even covering the Senate. I'm saying we don't even have time to deal with the Senate. We got to deal with this House because that House, it's possible that they could win 40 seats if he doesn't do anything.
True. Well, the Senate, they have slightly better control of, plus JD Vance. So House is definitely more
focus on the House. You don't have the luxury, and I'm not talking about for the rest of his term. I'm talking about from March 1st to October 31st. That's the period I'm talking about. 2 candidates a day. Every day, 2 candidates until you cover 435 candidates. Whatever day it is, it's Tuesday, March 1st. These are the 2 guys that we're highlighting today. This is not rocket science. We're operating completely blind. I don't know who to send money to at this point. I never even heard of anybody. I can't even help them if I wanted to. That's insane. I get texts 24/7 from the Democratic Party.
Well, I want to interrupt this broadcast because we're talking about money anyway, and this is really kind of critical, and I wanted to talk about it as well. But Dr. Evil just sent us $133 to celebrate that we've actually hit 103,000 subscribers.
Go evil.
So, I mean, thank you. That is incredibly generous of you to send that money. We do deeply appreciate it, and we are struggling. And that brings us to a point here with this super chat. And I did plan to bring this up. I've been digging around in the stats because we're fighting every day, just trying to keep alive everything else. And well, it turns out that 30%, almost 30, just a little under, it's like 29.3%. But anyway, almost 30% of the people watching right now are actually watching show after show, but they're not subscribed. So
for the love of
I'm
God.
hoping.
How can I get them to vote for the candidates? They don't even subscribe to the show.
Well, I was going to say,
wasting my
if
whole
you are
life.
watching it, if you're watching it, multiple times and you're enjoying
Oh my
it,
God.
what will it take? Can you please consider, tipping it over the edge? We're trying to get the algorithm here. We're suppressed every direction. If it wasn't for folks like Dr. Evil here, we'd be really hurting pretty badly on funds. So,
way to go, Dr. Evil.
please consider hitting that button, subscribing. It is free. It's still free. One of the few things in life. It's free
one
to
of the most
subscribe.
inexplicable things I've ever heard of in the history of media.
But I did want to point that out. We try to have a sponsor, different things like that. Well, you know what? That helps us get sponsors. That helps us get visibility. That helps in a lot of ways. But most of all, if you tip it, it tells the algorithm, oh, hey, people are watching. Oh, okay, they're hitting that subscribe. Well, maybe it'll show it to a few more people. Maybe we can break out of the tiny box. We do appreciate it. That's it. I'm not going to dwell on it. We actually haven't even really been asking a lot about subscribing because
nothing changes.
Given up.
The number's been the same for 2 years.
Well,
it just seems mathematically impossible.
Well, we went from 0 to 100,000 in under 2 years, and 2 years later, we've gotten 33,000.
It's impossible. I mean, everybody's afraid of Google, YouTube. That's the bottom line. The FCC and the Federal Trade Commission have to do something about it. This is way above our pay grade.
That's true. And fortunately, I mean, even in our current situation, we are better off than the folks in New York. And I have another super chat that I want to share because Nate the lawyer popped his head in. And he talked about the warmth of collectivism, and he has done a video on this. So I'm pointing to everybody if you want to see more. Nate the lawyer has done a video on this subject, but it's the new mayor of New York, Mamdani, who has determined. By the way, this article's already old. I think it's 14 or 15, but he's got the genius idea. Nate explained it to me. Eric Adams, all the mayors before would kick everybody off the street and they'd strip down their embankment, whatever encampments, whatever they built up, so they'd have to go to the shelter when it got really cold. Mamdani is saying, oh no, it is their right to go out there, and they are dying. He's literally letting people die
the
in
physics
the cold.
of the system. There is a van that comes around, maybe Nate knows this from New York. There's a van that would come around late at night around Manhattan and the other boroughs to where the homeless were, usually on heating grates that were steam grates and stuff like that outside of stores and restaurants and buildings. And inside the van was a social worker and a New York City police officer. So it had teeth. And they said, you have to get into the van. You can't stay here overnight. And the guy would, for the most part, peacefully get into the van. They take him out to Randall's Island, where they had services out there so they wouldn't die in the streets. And I guess Mamdani is not only is he not bothering with this, he's not bothering with garbage collection or snow removal. According to Mark Halperin this morning, it's piled 19 feet in the air now. He said it looked like the 70s in New York.
Shocking, but not surprising.
Right.
My
It's
favorite.
shocking to me because people get the impression the city runs itself, and in a certain way it does, because the head of the sanitation department is still the head of the sanitation department. Snow removal is snow removal, and garbage removal is garbage removal. Him becoming mayor didn't end their control of that area unless he put somebody in charge of those areas who are DEI, and they've altered the schedule of garbage removal and snow removal. I don't get it.
Well, didn't I say that they were talking about how this is the test for the 3 new new mayor and 2 governors, Mamdani, Mikey Sherrill out of New Jersey, and Spamberger here. Cold weather, storm. How's it going? Well, you can see how socialism's working in New York.
Right. Now, again, but I think it might not be socialism. Look, there have been work slowdowns, for instance, as Nate knows, intentional work slowdowns to make political statements. I believe that's what's going on. I believe this is New York's had a long history of this. It's the only way they can protest. They can't go on strike because they get incarcerated. It's against the law. So traditionally in New York, the way to politically protest is through these slowdowns, which I think this might be 2 of them.
Well, and it's like a blue flu. I think that could have been in New York.
Yeah, but the blue flu is a blue flu. The way sanitation does it is by snow removal and garbage.
And malingering and just half stepping the entire day. I mean,
well,
hey, it's snowy. I can't draw. No, I mean, but if you think about it, you
could. Are 90 feet high, so
sure, but you could put as much effort or as little effort in as you want. You're a damn union job, are you not? It's like, what are you going to do about it? As long as they're out there working. Yeah,
but it comes from the rank and file, and maybe he doesn't have a good relationship with them. Maybe he has no relationship with them.
All right, well, we got another heavy duty super chat with our first story here. John Springer, he is the individual who actually shared in a Pulitzer Prize when he was writing for, I think, the Hartford Courant back in the day. So,
okay,
John Springer.
I agree with him. It smells.
I was going to read it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. Some in the chat dismiss Nancy Guthrie's story as old lady goes missing. Mark my words, this is a big story and it's going to get bigger. Absolutely. And John worked with Samantha Guthrie on Court TV.
Yeah, no, your instinct tells you this. I woke up when it happened. I said, this is a kidnapping and it's a big, big story. And at first they said, old lady, no. This is going to have some legs.
Well, as soon as they said it looks like a crime scene, then that's when it was like, okay, this is odd.
Well, usually people at that level have a lot of contacts. I don't mean contacts, social contacts. I mean physical contacts from younger daughters. With the case with the actor dying and his wife, Hackman, they had ironically ostracized their children and cut them out of the will, which may have sped up their demise because there was nobody watching them anymore.
Well, ironically,
just to add in one last thing, the daughter, her sister, had dinner with the missing mom before she was disappeared. Just wanted to add that.
Somebody had been emailing me. It's possible that Samantha Guthrie herself had accidentally doxed her mother because she was filming at the location, and they were saying that that might have done it too. Again, I don't know for sure, but it's
interesting. Wow,
interesting.
How would they know? I bet you everybody in that area knows it's her mother, though.
Oh, I'm sure the people in the area, but those are the residents per se. But if somebody outside that could have helped them there,
merchants, Mexican maids,
delivery, DoorDash drivers, yeah,
of course.
So there's a lot of good. Holy shit!
I got one word for you for going into the future: private security. Private security, and to get involved, invest in private security companies because that's the future.
Could be, but by the way, our future is another $133 super chat from Big Bill 767.
Let me tell you something. Big Bill and Dr. Evil are working together. I don't like this. This is a coordinated effort to provide funding for our losses.
Where's my mute for Mark? Just mute him. Ignore him.
Big Bill.
Thank you, Big Bill. Congrats to Eric and Mark and to Dr. Evil 814 for pointing this out. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And for the rest of you, like I said, you can subscribe for free.
I know it's shocking to a lot
that.
of people. I didn't know you could subscribe for free.
Yes, it's been that way for over 20 years now that YouTube has had a free subscription. But wow, thank you very much, Big Bill 767. Very generous of you. Holy cow! Oh, that's a nice start to the day. Somebody who's not having a good day, and I saw in the chat that we've got to talk about, of course, the Epstein files, and it turns out the Clintons are going to cave. But I guess this is a little bit more controversial. Like, they're saying, okay, we'll testify, and then Comer is now saying, no, I want to know what you're going to say. So I guess there's a little bit more going on with that.
Again, this will be deposition behind closed doors under oath. I don't know what Comer is asking about. He hasn't asked the questions yet.
I know, but that's why I'm kind of like,
where does it say that?
Is he looking for a proffer? Mark Halpern was talking about it about this morning, and
I think it's a big win for Coleman. No,
I don't know. It seems like he
just got
somebody said that
the president and the president.
I know.
Testify under oath.
But they're saying, as an analogy, that he might have just caught the car. There's the worry that as soon as they gave up on Clinton, and that means they're coming back around, especially if they win the House, then it's really,
well, they're going to drag their feet, I assume, till November.
Potentially. I don't know.
Yeah.
But another story that broke in the Epstein files, to no surprise to anyone, was Bill Gates. Here is Melinda Gates getting asked about
who's on the left there? Who is that on the left?
Melinda Gates, like I just
Who's
said.
on the right? Who is that?
An NPR reporter.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
The emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs.
What?
And that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection.
That's not good.
And that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing.
Oh, boy.
His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior.
You don't have to respond, but I'm just going to lay it all out there and humiliate the shit out of you.
She just laid herself wide open to a libel suit, this woman. I mean, his wife isn't saying anything. This crazy nutbag at NPR is just saying stuff that is just out in the ozone somewhere.
Well, what it is I don't know if you saw it, and it's kind of weird. Epstein wrote an email to Bill Gates, but it was sent to himself. So Epstein sent himself an email writing all this out about Epstein. So it's kind of a weird scenario.
What happened to the last Epstein email that was proven to be phony? His suicide note. What was it? The last one that came out? It was the
one that he sent to Larry Nassar. You're talking about that,
right? The Larry Nassar one. How quickly was that debunked?
It didn't take long. There's another letter going around too.
That's why I don't get involved in this.
Right. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard not to address it when you have people, beating down the door. There was another one that came up as well that was involving Trump. And if you break down the email, here we go. Krasenstein. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's like one of those leftist activists, scumbag to be nice, types, is spreading this around, and somebody pointed this out about it. He's saying, here we go. Wow, no one found this horrific Donald Trump mention in the Epstein files because it was a handwritten letter that wasn't indexed properly by the DOJ. How convenient. This woman alleges that Donald Trump was involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Let me see. In the sale of young women to the blankety ring of Epstein and the Saudis. She also claims that Trump forced her to miscarriage after she got pregnant. See the entire 32-page letter. Hold on. This is where it gets interesting. If you read carefully, this claims a 14-year-old Epstein was trafficking to a 21-year-old Trump in the late 1960s.
I have no comment. I just
there are some things in there that I think do have some meat. Elon's got a few problems, and obviously Bill Gates might have a few problems with some others. But I think a lot of people are going to have to do a lot of checking and a lot of verifying to determine it's actually there. Because when they say release the files, well, they're releasing everything. So every single crackpot, every single person who writes in a letter, every single report, technically they have to document all of it. It all has to come in. And you've done the JFK stuff. How much crackpot BS is in the JFK files?
Quite a bit. I mean, they just merely filed away letters from people who had ideas. People just, I mean, not even crackpots. They were just people, this is my idea, and they filed it away. Of what
they
happened.
have to. They have
Yeah,
to. Yeah,
that's all they did. On the bottom it would say responded, dealt with it or something. There's like a note on the bottom.
Yeah, and I'm not saying there is nothing in there. I'm just saying that there's a lot in there. It's 3 million pages. Might take a minute to go through all that. There's another story that's been kind of going around here, and I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if you're familiar with the guy Elijah Schaefer.
Sounds familiar.
He's another like YouTuber commentator. He worked for the Blaze for a little bit. I think he got fired from the Blaze. Pretty controversial guy, but he tweeted this out, I think earlier today, which is interesting tweets here. I do not know where my wife and kids are, and I cannot get a hold of them. They are filed as missing persons. They have gone missing. Last enforcement confirmed someone in my household set me up. They planted drugs and said I was a criminal. This will be a public trial by the FBI. I am a victim of serious targeted felony crimes. I am not self-deletable. They have kidnapped my family. They have stolen my money. I will bring justice. I need the public to know I am in Virginia. The government is aware. I believe the FBI is trying to destroy my life and kill me. Now, he is the one who is being sued, or one of the people being sued by Kash Patel about some comments about Kash Patel's girlfriend, fiance, whatever. So there's a defamation lawsuit between Kash Patel and him. And then there's...
I'm going to just interject and say crystal meth on that one.
Okay.
That's the ramblings of a meth addict.
Okay.
I don't know who he is. I don't have a dog in the hunt. And I think that's those statements sound like a guy on meth.
All right. Well, he made another comment about his car.
Okay.
And somebody replied, "Bullshit! You said your family was missing. Now it's all about the car. I'm glad you got the car back, but you've been on a coke bender, and the missus took the kids. Coke is for homos, bro. Most pointless drugs I ever did. Absolute weak piss." And he wrote back,
I don't know if it's for homos. Meth is for homos. Coke is for
okay. Well, hold on. Okay. Anyway, he replied back, "Shut the F up, you projecting narcissistic asshole. Sorry you did coke and effed your life. I don't do drugs. I'm a dad and I'm very concerned, but I've been advised by attorneys not to make any more statements due to the criminal actions against me." And
he's already made the statements, though, Eric. He's already made crazy statements.
Anyway, yeah. I don't know what's going on out there.
Why would anybody go to that forum to air your grievance?
That's a great question.
You have an attorney. Why are you typing away like a coke methed out parrot in your underwear? It sounds like you might be a nut.
Or bipolar, potentially, or
whatever.
something. Yeah, it could be anything. Sure. But while we're on that, let's talk about it's a lead into drugs, man. You're dealing with a professional here, Marco. So,
what do you got?
All right. Canada's British Columbia has ended its failed experiment in hard drug. So this tells me, I think Oregon was doing it and they gave up on it. Well, I don't know if Washington did, but we're going right up the coast, right?
No. It was going the other way. That's why I just wanted to stop you. It started there and was going down. It started in Vancouver, British Columbia.
With the revoking of it or the reversal?
Well, it started and the reversal, both.
Oh, okay, because Oregon already reversed their policy, I thought.
Yeah, I forgot about Oregon for a second.
Okay.
This entire legalization thing started in Vancouver, British Columbia. They have vending machines with Vicodin. They have syringes. All of that stuff. The epicenter of this, the epicenter was not Oregon. It was British Columbia. And through these experiments, quote unquote experiments, and the legalization of hard drugs, the passing them out by politicians at street fairs, All of that, the model was Vancouver. That model is now crumbling, which is what the article is about.
All right. Well, and good.
I don't know
sad
if it's going
that
to
some
spread
people had
down.
to die, but
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to spread down the coast to the other places, but this is great news because this is where it started. That's where the whole game started.
okay. I thought that Rance said that Oregon definitely had reversed their policy, and
That I don't know. I don't know.
and then made it illegal again. Like they legalized everything, and then they reversed it.
I don't know about that, but British Columbia, Vancouver, that was the epicenter.
Okay, now while we're talking about
again, just to interject, democratic, liberal, progressive policies lead to the death of people. They're just not policies; they lead to death. Hundreds and hundreds of people have died up in Vancouver and all of those other states, Washington State. I'm not even going to get into those, but just looking at Vancouver on this experimental policy. This is not like having a toll road for 10 miles of a toll road to pick up extra income for your state. This leads to death. These policies lead to death. The policies of Mamdani of not taking in the homeless lead to death. Their consequences of their experimental policies lead to the death of Americans, and in this case, Canadians. That's how crazy their policies are. You could have a Republican policy on, tax on tips. It's not going to kill anybody. Their policies actually kill people.
yes, and by the way, legalizing crime kills people too. So a lot of absolutely. But we're going to continue. That's Canada. That's drugs. Let's talk about another Canadian. Somebody who's really kind of vanished in weird circumstances, and that's Jordan Peterson, who also vanished in the past because of a drug issue. So there's a weird tie in there. I think it was benzos or something that he couldn't crack. He was in Russia. So there's such weird stuff about Jordan Peterson because he went into Russia to supposedly, get off of the benzos, and he went into this heavy program and like coma stuff, and it was his son-in-law who put him there.
Former son-in-law now.
Oh, former son-in-law. But it seems like that nobody's seen this guy, and the only contact with him is
His
Michaela.
nutty daughter, Michaela. Yeah,
And
Dr.
I don't know
Drew
what's
hit
up.
me to that. Dr. Drew told me about this last week. He's in contact with him, and it's weird. Only the elites have these problems. Regular people are just addicts. They go to rehab, they kick, they go to NA. The higher up the elite food, and I love Jordan Peterson. I'm a big fan of Jordan Peterson, but addiction is addiction, and he would never come clean about being an addict and being addicted, and he could have helped so many people. I remember seeing him here in LA when he was on tour, and he had Dave Rubin open for him, and it was at the Orpheum Theater here in Los Angeles, and the whole thing was unbelievably magnificent. And then all of a sudden he got to must have been 6 years ago, got to the subject of addiction and just started making jokes about it. And I looked at my friend and I said, what is this now? He's like mocking addiction. It didn't make sense. And this was way before it was revealed that he is a drug addict. He will always be a drug addict. He's going to die a drug addict. I know this is hard for people to accept, but he is addicted to benzos. And I think he was on them for maybe decades. So it's extremely difficult to get off. He went to multiple rehabs in the United States. He bolted from all of them. He then went to a rapid detox situation in Moscow, which can be extremely detrimental health-wise. His diets and all this stuff that he's blaming. Anytime a celebrity tells you that they have the rarest disease known to man that no one else has, it's addiction. They're full of shit.
Yeah.
In my experience. I hope it's.
Well, he also was crying a lot. Like you mentioned the crying. He was very, very emotional all the time the past like 2 or 3 years.
Sign of addiction. Another sign of active addiction. You can't control your emotions. Happens with alcoholics, happens with benzo addicts. Benzos are extremely difficult to get off of. You've got to really detox for a long period of time in a controlled environment. He's apparently not willing to do that. He tapered down, from what I understand. That does not work. You have to go completely off of them to restore your health. And from what I understand, he never did that. And, you know, you could go back up and take more and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I've never heard him full throat say, I am a drug addict addicted to benzodiazepine. And there's a reason for it.
Now, benzos are Xanax? Or
Yeah, it's all
Valium?
kind. You're right. It's all kinds of pills. It's Xanax and anxiety. He said he had a lot of anxiety growing up as a young adult and a teacher. Yeah, probably so. But nevertheless, he's just like any other addict.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I hate to see it. I hope.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I hope he gets help, man, because a lot of people, especially young men, have really benefited from his message, and
I've benefited
worried
from
that-
his message. I'm a big fan of his message. That being said, RFK Jr. came out yesterday with the beginnings of the new addiction health plan, throwing $100 million at it to start off with. They are completely revamping the addiction medicine treatment provided by the federal government. And yesterday was his first press release regarding HHS and addiction medicine. So
Is he
you're
doing
gonna
the
see-
camps?
well, it wasn't in the thing at all, but I just wanted to say there's a policy coming out.
Okay, well, I didn't. I know that he was talking about the camps and stuff for a while when they were running. I didn't know where that was going. All right, so we've got that. We've got actually we're a couple more things to wrap up the Epstein. Trump has threatened to sue Michael Wolff. And the Epstein,
Okay, that's
estate.
fun.
He's saying that the document dump absolves him. There's the DOJ is also now they're open to
Don't forget Trevor Noah
charging
too.
more. Who what? Yeah, I'll get to that.
Oh yeah,
they're open to charging more Epstein associates after the latest document dump. And then yes, Trevor Noah made a joke at what is it? The Grammys? What was
the
he doing?
Grammys. Yeah, yeah.
I don't follow that shit. So okay, yeah, the Grammys, and he's suing Trevor Noah.
Yeah, now he may have free speech, but the Grammy Foundation has insurance, and they are going to pay off to avoid a trial, which is Trump's right to have, and I think he'll donate the money to charity again, which is his thing. Now, apparently, he got back on the blower with Harvard in the middle of the night, because Harvard started to balk on the deal that was negotiated with Trump regarding his $1 billion lawsuit against Harvard for DEI and anti-Semitic behavior. It came down to $500 million. They contacted the New York Times and said it was $200 million. And Trump called them up in the middle of the night and said, it's back to $1 billion. We're starting over.
Oh, God. All right. Well, good times there. Let me see. We've got
again. He donates all this money. It's not for him personally.
Right. Well, and it can have an effect. Let me see. So he said Apple controls pacemakers now. No, Apple doesn't control pacemakers. I don't know where you're getting that. A pacemaker may communicate to an Apple device, but it doesn't. I don't believe it.
Yes, Tim Cook is the mastermind of your pacemaker.
Yeah, no, I don't believe so. And then another guy is having a bad time of it, also appearing in the Epstein files. A little controversial, but has other problems, is Elon Musk. And the Paris cybercrime unit raids the French offices of X. And France seems like they've been going after X for a little bit. I think they want to shut it down. I think we've talked about that.
It's not even close to what that guy in Spain is doing. I mean,
oh, well, you're talking about
that was crazy today. I mean, he came out with like a 7-point program how to destroy social media in Spain. I don't know what this is. Like, what are they looking for here, Eric?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, X was incredibly important to the election, and it has been freed up for a lot of voices. Now, Rumble famously is not in France. Remember, they had to remove themselves from France and Brazil. Yeah. So France has been, trying to suppress the social media. Then they're going after Elon. Now, Elon had a bit of a problem with Grok where people were saying, hey, give me an image of blah, blah, blah. And there were some, I guess you'd say not safe for work images that Grok was generating. I don't know, how bad they were, but still not a good look. Anytime you're dealing with this kind of thing in a free speech platform, you're going to be getting a lot of free speech and a lot of things that are going to come across the line.
Bargained for, huh?
Well, it is what it is. I ask.
We didn't sign up for that much free speech. We wanted 73 gallons of free speech, and all of a sudden we've got entire tankers showing up at our door with free speech.
100%. Now, I want to pause and have a bit more of an amusing story because, well, no, I saw this and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is Mark, one of your favorite subjects, Mark. And we covered it for several episodes. It's been like a year, though. Is the conjoined twins. You love your conjoined twins.
Oh, these two look great. I'd love to party with these two.
Yeah, the problem is that they're AI.
They didn't even look real. You know what I mean? This looks like...
Oh, you mean that this doesn't look like a real...
No.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
No, come on. I mean, why are they making that? For a centerfold or something? Or...
Well, because they've got 280,000 followers on Instagram.
Oh, that's why. Why.
I don't even know if it's them. It could be some guy in the basement who's generating images, right? I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
This
is actually the height of influencer culture, though, if you think about it. It's hilarious.
But the real conjoined twins are never really that hot.
No, most people aren't that hot.
the conjoined twins that I've seen are
they're
not exactly as hot as these two.
And they're not symmetric either. It's kind of like they'll be like one with more of the torso than the other. I mean, come on.
One's got a boyfriend, the other one doesn't. I mean, it's not it's not like there's 2 for 1 here, like a 2 for 1 sale.
But you still love them, and there you go. This is the height of your desires, Mark. Oh my God. So anyway, folks, those of you who want to follow, who are they? Valerie and Camilla. Unfortunately,
maybe they are twins. Maybe it's the two are making money together.
I don't know, but
I mean, maybe they're separate twins or friends or sisters or something.
Yeah, you know what? They're not crediting here. Oh, it's Valeria and Camilla is the name, and they joined in December 2025. They
joined together or joined Instagram.
Instagram,
right.
And they got to 288,000 in just over a month.
Yikes!
Not too bad there. Hey,
look forward to seeing me and Hunley next week.
That's right.
Joined at the head.
That's right.
Rosie Greer and Ray Milland are back in the America's Untold Story thing with 2 heads.
Wasn't Rosie Greer the Boston Marathon bus rider?
Rosie Greer was a guy. He was one of the fierce enforcement for the LA Rams, but he was also RFK's bodyguard and was one of the first to grab the gun from Sirhan's hand during the assassination.
Okay.
He later testified in the trial, by the way.
Oh, is Rosie Ruiz? No. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she faked a victory in Boston Marathon. Wrong, Rosie. Okay, well, while we're on New York, or we'll go back to New York, I should say. While he's letting homeless people die in the street, he does have to staff certain positions. So Mamdani has chosen who better to lead the Department of Corrections than an ex-con.
He knows the ins and outs. He knows the ins and outs. He was a convict. He knows about the food. He knows about the bedding and the pillowcases. He's the perfect candidate for this job.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's an ex-con. What could go wrong?
Yep.
There's not. In fact, I think there's zero. I'll have to check with Al Gonzalez on this. I think there's zero recidivism in the penitentiary system in New York. Zero recidivism.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. So he's setting the example. Perfect. I am so happy to hear that. While we're at it, we're going to have more fun, though. And
What?
well, it turns out that Bernie Sanders isn't only a socialist. Apparently, he had an entrepreneurial idea at one point, and he built a device. I don't know if he patented it, but he built a device to give himself cosmo-shattering orgasms.
Now, to be fair, this is the orgone energy box, which was very prevalent in the 70s, designed by Wilhelm Reich. This was not designed by Bernie Sanders. However, he was using one and probably purchased it from Wilhelm Reich, who designed. This was very popular in communal circles in the 70s, where I think Bernie Sanders may have used one up in Burlington, Vermont, before he was the mayor. It was called, they said it's another name, but we used to call it the Orgone Energy Box. They called it the Wilhelm Reich Orgone something or other. But it's just, there it is. That's the device there. You got into that box there, and you were able to have super duper orgasms from the accumulator in the run up to Reich's trial. I think he was put on trial through the Federal Trade Commission. I forget the Wilhelm Reich legality part of it, but he was selling these orgone energy boxes, which really didn't do anything. And I think one of the practitioners of it was Bernie Sanders.
I was gonna say it looks like a crazy ass spa.
It was,
spa, but a sauna.
Was, yeah,
sauna.
it was.
It's like a sauna.
It was. It really was. Whether it worked, I don't know. But they were quite prevalent in rural areas of communal activity in the 70s. Let me put it that way, of which he was part of.
Okay, well, fair enough. And here we go.
Is that him with teaching or something? What is
I think it's Bernie Sanders. Yeah, and
was John to Reich's claim that social conditions, sexual freedom. Yeah, he bought into everything, and he still does. So I wouldn't be surprised. I just never heard him linked to Reich before. There's Wilhelm.
Look at that hair. You must like him.
I love this guy. Yeah, he was huge. So did Bernie. Liked his hair.
Yeah, obviously. All right. Well,
look at his hair, dude. I mean, Einstein had the hair. Everybody, you had to.
Fair enough. And all right. Well, you know what? That reminded me of another story, which you're talking about cosmic orgasms and space travel. This isn't quite cosmic or space, but I think somebody had the same idea, and apparently it didn't work out very well. Hospital had to be evacuated after an 8-inch World War I artillery shell was discovered in their posterior.
Happens all the time.
So I guess that
happens all the time.
You know what? It's a little bit lower to Earth, but
I know. I had a friend. It was on the Carmine Street Printing and Racket Club, Health Club. We had a softball team down there, and the softball team, a bunch of the guys on the softball team ran the St. Vincent's Hospital emergency room. They were medical doctors. There was about 3 of them. Who were friends of mine and members of the gym and also on my softball team. So each Monday we'd have practice, and they'd come in from the weekend and they would compare notes about what keep in mind where this is. The hospital itself is right in the heart of Greenwich Village. So each week they would come back and compare notes about what they found in the buttocks of some of the patients. And they would show each other the x-rays. This is like a medical thing that this is their type of humor. And they would share this, not the x-rays, just the stories with me, because I just go, what do you find up there? And they would tell me all the various things that they would find. But the common thread from everyone was, I don't know how that got up there. And that was their joke as doctors running the emergency room at St. Vincent's. They would just say this to each other all the time. I don't know how that got up there, doctor. It was their type of humor. And I was watching a Dan Aykroyd movie a couple of weeks ago. It was set in a hospital, and it opened up with, I want to say Dave Thomas wrote it. And Aykroyd was the hospital administrator. I forget the title. It was called like white smocks or something, or white coats, one of his first films. And it opens up with a guy in the ER room of the hospital laying on his stomach. And they come in and they're teaching a class and they make rounds. And Dave Thomas comes in, and stuck in the guy's anus is a Barbie doll. And they show it on the x-rays, and he's going, please don't tell my wife. I have no idea how that got up there. And it reminded me of the story I just told you when I was watching the movie. So when you sent me this story, I just said, of course, because I've heard fluorescent light tubes, gerbils, armchairs, the legs of chair. It just goes on and on and on.
Well, those people who have listened to Adam Carolla over the years, it's not Dr. Drew. There's another doctor. His name's Dr. Bruce, if I recall.
Oh, yeah.
It was an emergency room doctor. And that is one of the running themes of the show, is what they're coming in with.
It was one of the running themes of our softball team.
So, all right, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Now, we had another story that's kind of been breaking today, and that is Jill Biden's ex-husband was charged with first-degree murder.
How is this possible?
His new wife.
How is this possible? This is a guy that they had on TV running a million times, running up to the election, talking about Joe Biden and how he threatened him and everything. So I'd have to really get into the weeds of this thing to find out if this is not payback for what he did to Joe Biden during the election, because he made himself available.
Here's a sample of that, as a matter of fact, with Greg Kelly.
Greg Kelly, yeah.
How do you feel when you see Jill Biden and what she's doing seems to be desperately clinging to power? What can you tell us? What is your take on what's happening?
Well, my take is the only take that can be taken seriously, to be perfectly honest, Greg, because it has been 40 years that we've been married. Yep, a lot is going on. And as you say, I have no hard feelings. I've lived a better life since the divorce. Divorce was wicked, and I'll speak about that in a minute. But Greg, I'm the only one that can tell the truth about what's going on here. And I am telling you, the young lady, Dr. Jill Biden, that I see on stage, is somebody that I really don't even recognize anymore. It's sort of amazing how she's matriculated into this person. And you're
anyway, he apparently was on tour.
I remember that. He was on multiple times on Greg Kelly.
Well, there you go. He's being prosecuted for first-degree murder of his new wife. So, I don't know much.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, because I don't know the case. But all I know is it could be related to some type of retribution. Is my first instinct. But,
it could be.
Well, we'll see. We don't know.
Could be. Well, speaking of retribution, it appears that apparently Bill Belichick was rejected from getting into the Hall of Fame on the first vote, which surprised a lot of people.
A lot of people. Me too.
Apparently, he even turned to an assistant when he heard and said, "That wasn't enough Super Bowls."
I think he's got 5 Super Bowl championships. 6. What 6? I mean, what the hell do you got to do?
He got 2 more with New York Giants that he had rings for them when he was.
What do you got to do to get into this so-called Hall of Fame?
Well, it gets better. Robert Kraft has now also been denied.
I saw that this morning. Yeah,
and apparently it was a runoff between the two, and both of them got chucked.
Very strange. Very strange.
Now they're saying it's because of Deflategate and something else that. I guess the claim is that he might get in next year. That they're punishing him by making him wait a year to get in because of Deflategate, and I forget.
Well, it didn't stop the Baseball Hall of Fame from putting in Carlos Beltran, the ringleader of a super organized cheating ring to steal the World Series from the Dodgers and the entire series, entire season. Apparently, that didn't stop MLB. The NFL's got their own DEI crazy problems that nobody could solve. But today I learned that Turning Point USA has created their own lineup for the halftime show.
Oh, with Kid Rock and all that.
Yeah, so you'll be able, I believe, to watch when the halftime show comes on. You'll turn to a channel to see or a link to see Turning Point USA's Super Bowl halftime show for families. Brilliant idea.
I love it, and I hope it works because it would be fun because they track this shit.
Yeah.
At the network, and it's like if all of a sudden everybody leaves for exactly that amount of time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long, and then they come back. That'll be interesting. And
very interesting.
And the advertisers who are being bookended around the Bad Bunny, they're not going to be happy if the major chunk of audience.
Well, maybe they could go
disappearing.
over to TPU Turning Point USA next year.
Well, I'm sure
it becomes
yes,
a
it
regular
could.
thing, Eric. I mean, again, as I said before, it's not the NFL booking these bands. It is Jay-Z who they turned over as part of the extortion after George Floyd. Part of the shakedown of the NFL by Black Lives Matter was to get Jay-Z to be in charge of entertainment for the NFL. One of many demands.
Okay, I understand that, but there is also a veto. I mean, even if you turn it over, anybody who says they hire an outside group, I want you to provide blah, 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 and then they hear you're going to send it, who? No, find somebody else. They usually have some sort of a veto power.
They claim no. I mean, you could be saying yes. They claim no.
Well, then they're stupid.
Well, nobody's ever said they weren't. The point of the matter is he has put on the most crazy halftime shows so far, I guess in the 5 or 6 years since George Floyd, since he started doing this. Every year he's raised the stakes.
Well, the sad part is you even commented, I think it was during the Thanksgiving games, that what was it? They had like Kid Rock and Eminem doing the Detroit Lions. So they don't have always bad things going on.
Right, but he's not in charge of that one.
I understand that, but
right. He's not in charge of that. He's in charge of the Super Bowl. But now it's
only
Green
the
Day
biggest freaking event on television.
Yeah. That was the shakedown. Remember, they had the end zones saying stop racism. They had them taking a knee. They had the Black African national anthem. Slowly but surely, the tide has receded, and what we're left with is the remnants of this Jay-Z contract, which I think might be 5 years. So it may be coming to an end.
Let's hope. I don't have that much confidence because I don't think they do it. So while we're on it, let's we did mention the Grammys earlier. I thought this was kind of a funny story, and it's about Billie Eilish. I guess she had made a statement during the Grammys. I don't know if that's here, but let's see.
Say, eyes out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
You also don't sound educated, but anyway.
Yeah, no, it's got problems. The powerful speech. Hey, I'm Bad Bunny. This is my speech.
Jesus, crying out loud. Okay. All right.
I guess I want to say I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I
So
wouldn't
what?
be here,
Yeah.
and I think those people deserve to.
Let's see if Eilish is in here.
Oh, I don't think she's in that section. Oh, there she is.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
There it is.
I say sorry.
Okay, no one is illegal on stolen land. Well chosen words, Billy. Apparently, her mansion, however, is on stolen lands, and the tribe is saying, okay, the Tongva tribe is saying, then give it back.
Well, not only that, she has prosecuted, even this week, going back the past year or two, at the same mansion, fans who have trespassed over her wall and gates onto her stolen land. She has prosecuted, this is not criminals, I'm talking about fans who have gone over the wall to, to meet her or whatever. She has prosecuted them for violating her sacred boundaries and border that she put up around the stolen land house that she built on the Native American stolen land.
Which, by the way, I would completely support if she wasn't a complete hypocrite with what she said. I mean, people not wanting trespassers, no problem. But her, if she's saying, oh, you can't have it, well, very interesting. So I love hypocrisy. Always fun. But there is something I love more than hypocrisy, And that's super chats.
Oh my God, you're back on this again. What else you have over there?
Well, we've got like 20 super chats.
Well, do what you got to do. Let's bring them up. Let's see who these
so,
cats are. Maybe they have a question.
Well, we're going to start off with Anthony from Australia. I don't know if you can guess what he's saying.
He must have a question.
Nope.
He's blaming someone.
Yes. Trump's fault. Prove me wrong.
It's hard to prove a negative. I don't know if we could prove a negative, but
thank you, Anthony.
You'll be happy when he invades Australia to liberate you.
Yep. And I thought of this one too. Retired MP Sergeant. Even Jack the Ripper wrote the London papers, and he did. Yes, that was one of the earliest.
Of course. They didn't rip the London papers for printing it. I mean, how about the Unabomber? I remember buying the copy of the New York Times to read his manifesto. Nobody fucking hassled the New York Times for printing it.
Yeah, and I think
Harvey Levin. They're going to go after Harvey Levin.
Yeah. I mean, the more they go after him, the happier he is. It's just going to make the story spread more.
I was just surprised because I was reading the comments after I saw that clip, and I was just like, well, "What are they? They're going crazy at Harvey Levin." I just saw all he did was say, "We got this letter."
Yeah. Scott H. 2025. I'm getting ahead of the game. It's Trump's fault. No, Anthony beat you, buddy.
Anthony beat you there, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, he beat you. Sorry.
No man is an island. Nobody's above the law.
Jack White, did you guys see the narcissistic empathy suit? Bob Iger's replacement has officially been announced. Disney has a new CEO. I did see that he's getting $38 million as a package.
Not enough. Not enough. 38 million?
I don't know.
Do you think there's a guy who could have done it for like 500 grand?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. With incentives. I'm saying your base is 500,
and then whatever you earn, you get an X amount of percentage on it.
The fuck out of you, right? Yeah. We only have 500 grand right now. You want to do it?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'll do it.
Probably good. I mean, well, here's the irony. Steve Jobs. I know I bring him up a lot, but Steve Jobs died a billionaire, but the billions wasn't from Apple. He made all that money because he bought Pixar. Pixar was his company. He bought it out of his pocket from George. It was a George Lucas event. George Lucas was going through a divorce. He had to get rid of the production group. Steve Jobs bought them because they were making software, so he wanted the software to come out. Software kind of died, but they were making these animated films to show off the software. Disney bought that, but that's where Steve Jobs got all of his money. So even when he was CEO of Apple, he might have had a couple $100 million that came out of Apple, but his real fortune came from Pixar, and he took Apple to be the #1 company in the world.
By the way, did you see the ads in Craigslist LA for protesters? 6,500 a week, calling for really strong young men who are willing to mix it up. A long story on the job description. And we kind of figured out the 6,500 a week because we couldn't understand, like, where are you protesting for a week? And it really boiled down to 2 or 3 hours of protest, but they maxed it out to get the attention in the headline of 6,500 a week, but nobody's protesting nonstop for a week. No. So we believe that it's really, $300 or $400 or $500 an hour to mix it up with LAPD.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah. Everybody's got it, They got to earn their money.
Yeah.
All right, Jack White again. Good to see you, Jack. Well, Mark, there's a reason your state is called California.
Well, I mean, they're going to change the name of Virginia and New York.
Don't remind me about Virginia. Oh, God.
There's other states, too, that have similar problems. Minnesota, unless you begin to get this election thing under control, the election thing gives them state control and allows them to do their communist stuff. I mean, I don't care that the Supreme Court doesn't like to get their hands dirty with local elections. It's a cop-out. It's a complete cop-out. They've got to weigh in on voter ID. They have to weigh in on having election day for federal elections. I don't give a shit about dog catcher. They can count votes till the cows come home for dog catcher. But these congressional races that are in California and Minnesota, they are going to use the long count to make sure that they have the House of Representatives under control. In the California Constitution now, it's 4 weeks allowed to count the votes, and which is fine, except for federal elections. What I am saying, and I've said this for years, the Supreme Court and the Trump administration through the Solicitor General have to pick apart the election laws in California and just take the congressional federal elections and say this is unconstitutional to count the votes for 4 weeks for federal seats.
I agree, but that's where I think that Supreme Court case is going to be potentially very critical.
Yeah.
If a candidate can sue and they have the standing to do this, and
Well,
I asked Nate on it, and they always had the standing on the state level, but because it goes to Article 3, that means they can do it on a federal level.
Right,
So
but his Solicitor General, they don't have to be an amicus brief for someone else's case. It could be, but they could go in as a Solicitor General and bring this case to the Supreme Court. They have standing as the administration.
True. And on that note, you had to bring her up, but yeah, I did have a story here. Exclusive: Spamberger's sanctuary agenda turn Virginia into California East.
Oh my God, how prophetic. I was just saying that. Wow.
Yeah.
What is she doing, Eric? I heard she's signing executive orders like it's going out of style.
Yes.
Is that true?
I think she learned from Trump. She's flooding the zone. And some of her executive orders are like refusing hand counts of ballots, making it illegal to hand count ballots. Why? Why would you do that? I wonder. And on down the line, there are so many executive orders. She's working on making the Virginia the highest taxed state in the nation. It literally there will be, I think, a 17.5% tax rate. And I mean, it's like higher than New York, higher than California. She is going completely bonkers.
I'm gonna stick my neck out and say that. Stick my neck out and say the CIA has programs within its own training to teach people how to run for office and how to govern.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
I'm just guessing.
Well, what does the CIA do? They do it in other countries. Why couldn't they do it here? I mean,
no, but I'm saying literally teaching you as an employee within a certain division of the CIA, if you'd like to get involved with this, if you're Amaryllis Fox, if you're Spamberger, if you're the guy who was in Utah, I forget his name, the light-skinned black guy, there might be a training program within their programs on how to run for office and how to govern within the CIA.
Yeah, I would not doubt it at all.
Yeah.
Especially if you never really leave that. And by the way, I had another story. It's nothing to the CIA, but I just don't want to let it go. I don't know if you had heard of this gay judge out of Texas, but she's been indicted for official oppression. This woman handcuffed an attorney, restraining her in the jury box.
Oh my God.
This nut, this Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez. She was indicted.
Speedy Gonzalez?
Speedlin, but yeah, she is a bit speedy. More than a year after investigators said she had an attorney handcuffed during a dispute in her courtroom. Apparently, this one also was caught with a gun. TSA found a loaded handgun in her carry-on bag at the San Antonio airport.
It's a fucking nut. Again, megalomaniacal judge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't stop. We've got another category. Remember, we were talking about the nurses, the teachers, the librarians. Don't forget the judges.
The female judges. But Boasberg is a male judge, and the Ethics Commission dealing with judges, all judges, the ethics people found absolutely no evidence of misconduct on the part of Boasberg. No conflict of interest, not that his daughter was raising money to defeat Trump. Absolutely no conflict and no evidence of misconduct on the part of Boasberg. Again, they're just spinning their wheels. There's no judges that are going to do anything to their other judges. They are all in the same fucking country club. They got to hang out with this douchebag. It's got to be through impeachment.
Yeah, or if you can indict them like here, that's possible too. If you can get a jury trial, I mean, that's actual crime.
Yeah.
Locking up a damn attorney. I mean,
yeah. Well, Nixon had the right idea. He went through their taxes. He dug up dirt on them. He had people. He had people doing stuff to get dirt on them. Seems to be none of that. They just go, oh, well, we tried. There was a statute of limitation. It was mortgage fraud, but we couldn't convince a grand jury of it. Oh, it's a tough break for us. There seems to be absolutely no fucking energy to convict anybody of anything who were the people who did this to everybody.
Yep, 100%. Let me see. I'm not your buddy guy. I guess it's in Canada. I didn't know that. What this truly shows is the power of propaganda. For this to be a subject that practically everyone agrees on to ever be considered controversial. He's talking, I think, about the voter ID.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Nate, I know, had dropped a comment in later, but we'll see.
Okay.
Jack White, you guys should have on Robert Gouveia and Razorfist to discuss voting issues in Arizona. Usually Robert Gouveia is kind of streaming at the same time I'm streaming. I've had him on one time. Great guy. No worries there, but he's busy. The guy streams like 2-3 times a day. Nate the lawyer. Here it is. Most people don't know that it's harder to vote in blue states like New York and California than it is to vote in a red state like Texas and Florida.
It's true. When I go over to the place, there is a book. They look up your name, but there's no ID. But the ID thing is a MacGuffin that's left over from the Voting Rights Act. It's kind of a fake out thing, but it can be used to cross-reference the mail-in ballots and things of that nature. Because you could have signature matches on there. You can have a lot of different ways with that ID to challenge their mass mailings of absentee ballots. I don't even know why they call them absentee ballots anymore. They're just mail-in ballots.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Let's see. Mike Schaefer. Democrats are in a fight for their existence.
Yeah, I would say, I remember there was a legal American Communist Party in this country for many, many years, and they're not here anymore. What's that?
Brennan was voting for him, right?
Yeah. And they had candidates and everything else. The Democratic Party has to go that way. And I'll tell you something else, who might side with us on this is the Democratic Socialists of America, who hate the Democratic Party and want to become the main party. So they may become an amicus brief filer in this takedown of the Democratic Party as a terrorist organization that I'm proposing.
You know, it's funny. You mentioned that Dan and Sean were talking about this morning, that there's a definite split between Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah.
That they're at odds. And it was just shocking because Pelosi and Schumer were like attached at the hip, and it was Chuck and Nancy. They were so close and so lockstep that they were just referred to together. Dan clarified. He said no, they fought in private, but Pelosi would keep it in the private. But Hakeem Jeffries apparently is so weak. He's so weak, and he has to be performative to get out there. And he said as an example that Obama on healthcare was seen as so weak that Nancy Pelosi had 2 balls and lent one to Obama and still had more balls than he did.
I think that was James Carville's joke, if I remember from back in the day.
It could have been, but the
joke itself was credited to Carville.
Oh, it sounds like Carville.
Yeah.
Did you
ever, do you
remember the show K Street on HBO with Carville and Marlon Maples? I think it was.
It was great.
Oh, it's a great show. I mean, he's kind of a.
I remember the one with Halpern and what's his face.
The circus on Showtime.
The circus, yeah.
I never watched that.
It was good, really good.
All right, Jack White. Let me see. And an update on the Star Wars front. Okay.
You gotta let it go, Jack.
They're axing he's paying for the privilege. They're axing stuff from the Kennedy trilogy from the Disney parks. So instead of seeing Mary Sue and Kyla Cuck, you'll see Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. I think that was already happening because when I went to Disney in 2019, it was like, this is the Millennium Falcon. Like this is old Star Wars stuff. So I don't know. Good, I guess. K-Dog is saying when the Dems regain power, they will 100% be doing raids and kicking indoors.
Yeah, apparently you didn't get enough torture the last time around.
I'm not your buddy guy with $10 Canadian. Thank you. Why did Minnesota become a flashpoint? Does anyone remember the massive fraud that was exposed. It was as if the situation went from day to night over a weekend, as well being almost too organized. No, I guess.
Well, I mean,
surely the fraud and stuff. Yeah.
The communist, socialist history of Minnesota is fairly well documented, going back to the 1920s. So
The Farmer Party.
this has been a communist stronghold for 100 years.
Yeah. Pew Pew has been a member now for 19 months. Thank you, Pew Pew.
Where was
Very generous.
Mondale from? Minnesota. Where was Humphrey from?
Yeah.
Minnesota. I mean, there's a lot of left coming out of Minnesota.
Right, but I think it was like the Farmer and Labor Party, right? And
there was a number of these parties.
yeah.
The point of the matter is they weren't coming out of Wisconsin, where McCarthy was. They were coming out of Minnesota.
Yeah. Anyway, Pew Pew, you need to subscribe. This show is on the rise. Well, let's hope. From your keyboard to God's ear or eyes. Lynn Bleckstein. Colton Moore is the best candidate to replace M. Green in the Georgia 14 House election. The Atlanta progressives literally hate him. Okay, so we got one.
Okay, that's what he says. What about the other 19?
I don't know. Well, I don't know any of the congressional candidates.
Particular thing. I mean, if until Trump tells me to vote for Colton Moore, and I'm not saying I have to do what Trump says, but in this mass nationalization, we don't have time to split these votes. We just have to know who is the main dog. It may very well be Colton Moore. I don't know. But there's 19 other Republicans running for that seat. We need to know, not just that seat, I'm saying 435 seats, people.
Well, and then there's places like Massey's seat. Apparently, there's one person that Trump endorsed, but I think there's like 4 or 5 other candidates that are splitting the anti-Massey vote. So that may go.
Okay, well, if he picks one, we got to go with that one.
Well, or they have to go with that one. Sure.
Yeah. But no, but I'm saying to nationalize it. I will mail money from California. I will mail money. I can't vote for them.
Right.
But we
like
can
AOC collected money from all over the country.
But they're all doing it. But again, we have to know who to vote for, who to send money to.
All right. Diffuse 56 gifted 10 America's Untold Stories memberships, which we always appreciate. Thank you, Tractor Guy. Very, very kind. Pam. Hey, Pam. Good to see you. Happy Tuesday to you, Pam. Thank you very, very much. We've got Sean Lucan. Great show as always, gentlemen, and thanks to all of our subscribers and contributors. Thank you, Sean, and thank you for contributing and subscribing. Hopefully others will at least follow your lead and subscribe. End Rose. Let's see. My great uncle has an FBI files, lots and lots of random attorney in there, but there is a letter from a woman who detailed claims against him. LOL.
Against who?
Your great uncle?
Who?
I'm going to read it again. It's a little confusing. My great uncle has an FBI files, lots and lots of random attorney in there, but there is a letter from a woman who detailed claims against him. LOL.
Okay.
I think there might have been a typo in there. I'm not sure.
It happens. It happens.
A little confusing. Mark H10, 1998. Bill Clinton testified that he could not remember details 110 times, including 54 instances of I don't remember about Monica Lewinsky.
Well, that's very common in a deposition. I assume they're going to do the same thing here. And Massey's going to, like Eric said, be the dog that caught the car. You can't alter that. I mean, you're going to depose the guy and he's going to say, I don't recall, I don't recall, I don't recall.
Not Massey.
I always say Massey. I mean, Comer.
Comer, yeah.
Comer. And he will, that's what he signed up for. I mean, I don't know what he's going to ask him, but he has the right to say, I don't recall. And he also has the right to take the fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mike, search Epstein's files for Belichick. 6 hits.
I think even my mother got 3 hits in there. So that could be, could happen with a lot of people.
There's 3 million pages or files. So a lot of people have crossed paths. So, as a matter of fact,
I think this is why they were reluctant to release it, because of guys like this who are simply going to say Belichick's in there, so he's guilty of being a pedophile.
Or what was it? Brett Ratner. He's in there. There was a picture of him with the female and Epstein.
That's why they didn't want to release
and Ratner is saying that was my fiance, and that's the only time we saw the guy in our life. And I think it might have been in a restaurant, like in a booth, that they were taking a picture. But
I think there's a sadism on the part of the people who are really drunk on this thing with these files, who really, because when I ask them, what is it you're looking for? Nobody seems to have an answer. Legitimate, just names. They want names, Eric.
Yeah. I mean, bad people, I definitely want to see put away. So charge the people who are supposed to be charged or whatever, but it's kind of tough. Let's see. Any input on Melania's movie?
I have some input on it because Ratner, I hope his career is restored because he was Me Too'd. The crew has taken their names off the film. The film got 99% on Rotten Tomatoes and about 9% among the top critics who refused to review it, will not review it, claiming it's a propaganda film, as if there has never been a propaganda documentary from the left.
Obama, I'm sure there'll be an Obama film, and they'll all say it's wonderful, it's brilliant.
No, but there's hundreds and hundreds of Michael Moore type documentaries that they reviewed that even they admit in the review that this is a propaganda film about climate change or whatever. They will not even address it, saying it's a propaganda film. Nevertheless, it is the highest grossing documentary now in 20 years. This is the little earlier when it was released. I think it's now 20 years. And credit to Brett Ratner, who knows how to shoot film and is a brilliant filmmaker, not getting the credit he deserves. That's all I want to say about Ratner.
Right.
You saw his work in Rush Hour and all these other films that Brett Ratner made famous. He had a $400 million deal with Warner Brothers that they pulled the plug on because somebody Me Too'd him. None of that ever went to court. And as for the subject, I have not seen the film, so I can't comment on what's in there.
Well, I will say that there was, everybody's being very critical that they spent $35 million on the movie, blah, blah, blah. Well, they're going to make the money. It looks like the movie is going to make all the money and all the marketing back. So,
well, they're going to have to sue the city of LA for taking those buses off the road and putting them in a yard so the ads on the side of the buses could not be seen. Karen Bass making that move. Somebody's going to sue Karen Bass and the city of Los Angeles for that.
But to the credit, even with that, it's still going to make its money. So good job on Brett, putting out a decent product.
Yeah.
Jack White, CIA Spamberger corrupt. See you next Tuesday. Yeah. Yeah, she is. Dustin, here we go. $20. This was for the cat watching channel. Oops, hit the wrong button. He thought it was.
I only watch boxers on Instagram. I don't even know what's on Instagram. Only when I go to bed at night, I just look at Instagram and it's just got boxer dogs doing things, and I just somehow it's the greatest videos. It's my cat video, is watching boxer puppies, boxer dogs. I subscribe to every single boxer channel, so I don't get anything else but boxers.
I will say in the changes that on X lately, because Grok is starting to drive the algorithm or whatever, my cat video supply has increased exponentially, and I appreciate that.
Wow.
You know what? I find that the timeline with all of the hatred and everything else that goes on in X, having extra cat videos.
No, that's how I feel about the boxer videos. Yeah.
It's very healthy to sit there and look and just laugh. And
by the way,
yes, I know half of the time they're AI and made up, but if they're funny enough, I don't care.
If you want to break tomorrow, we're having a comedy session on the life of SNL's Phil Hartman, which is going to go in a deep dive tomorrow on What's Up with Lord Buckley, including his Simpsons material, including news radio, including his Groundlings background here in LA, and including coming from Toronto and moving to Los Angeles at the age of 10. Fascinating deep dive into Phil Hartman, who was the next Dan Aykroyd type at SNL, playing all the Bill Clinton. Going to McDonald's was one of his main characters. There's a lot of Phil Hartman fans that are still out there. And
stolen way too early. He would have been.
Yeah, I mean, he was 49 when he went out. But we're going to get into the murder also, and we're going to find out exactly what went wrong.
I believe it. All right. Well, good. Let's see. Jack White again. Barnes is right. We need to get rid of licensure. These licensing boards can't be trusted. Like, for example, there was a corrupt attorney who was convicted and disbarred, but he was able to reapply and get his license back. Yeah, well, there's like Kleinsmith, who never even got disbarred. The guy,
I want you to imagine a world. Imagine a world with no licenses for anything. Just think about that world and call me tomorrow.
I think there's a balance in there.
Oh, maybe there's a balance. No, yeah. Really?
But, like, how big of a license do you need for a hairdresser?
I have no idea.
So, there you go. I mean,
no idea.
All right, Jack White again. Reminder: Schumer has been Pelosi's lapdog for years.
It could be the other way around. Who knows?
Yeah, they get along. I mean,
she's not over in the Senate.
Lynn Bleckstein again here. Moore has the support of Trump. What?
Who?
Not
Moore?
Michael.
No, I think that candidate down in Georgia that he said was the number.
Clayton Moore. Okay.
Clayton Moore or
sense.
Colton Moore. Colton Moore, she's saying. Or he's saying, sorry.
That makes sense.
Colton Moore. Well, that's just one. I need 434 more by November 3rd.
Hey, it's the same speed as building in the Palisades.
Right, but this doesn't apply. This is a special election simply to replace Marjorie Taylor Greene. The guy who won down in Texas may lose in November, everybody. The guy who just beat the Republican candidate in Texas, and also this Moore may lose in November.
Could be
if he does win, Colton Moore. I'm saying.
All right, Kathleen Levinson is a new member. Thank you very much. We do appreciate that. 32267. Speaking of no indictments / arrests, watch James O'Keefe's undercover FBI blabbermouth number 7 from his show today. Intentional slow walking until administration changes. Soon unemployed. He blasted cash.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, this is now over a year. The clock is still ticking. No arrests, no indictments, no nothing. No judges gone down. No politicians. No J6 committee people. Nobody at the FBI that I know of has been arrested. Nothing. Just zilch. You could bullshit us all you fucking want. But this midterms are going to be lost until they take down top level people who are in charge of doing the damage under the Biden administration. And they will lose the fucking midterms unless they start making arrests. You heard it here first, folks.
All right. Jack White again. Another reminder, a lot of these so-called progressive theories and ideas originate from some of the biggest degenerates of the 20th century. People like
Simone de Beauvoir. I'll say that because I figured you'd have trouble.
Thank you. Harry Hay, Alfred Kinsey, John Money, and so on.
Yeah, the Kinsey report. That is true. That he's right about. There's a whole list of them who were cited, including somebody who invented Planned Parenthood.
Singer, right?
Yeah, that's right. Who was the lead eugenicist in America at the time. Wanted to eradicate the black race, but nobody seems to mind now.
Yep, that's why there's more Planned Parenthoods than black neighborhoods than anywhere else. So, let me see. Who is this? Batty Girl Rachel.
Oh, Rachel's batty, but not that
U2C U2C Mike Benz on Rogan today talked about Epstein being a facilitator for CIA and sounded like Epstein helped set up the Clintons Foundation. Yes.
Yeah,
Epstein
he talked about this a year ago.
Sure.
He talked about this a year ago, 6 months ago, Mike Benz with Rogan. I don't know if you're watching an older episode, but he went into immense detail of what Epstein did with intelligence services around the world not just particularly the CIA, that he was a hedge fund broker for them with money, and a guy who was the go-between to supply money for different
And
nations and weapons for nation states. And he, Benz does not believe that he was a blackmailer. He never would have survived 10 minutes, according to Mike Benz. He never would have survived 10 minutes in that profession if he went off the rails.
All right, Mr. Mike, references to the DC Madam Palfrey are in the Epstein files. Palfrey murdered to cover up Epstein, according to a witness victim.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. Oh, well, people are going crazy too. Apparently, pizza is in the Epstein files quite a lot. So
What, Pizzagate?
It's coming back up again.
Okay.
Good point. All right, Jack White.
But there's no there. Again, you could say Bill Belichick 10 times in the Epstein files. It's salacious. You got to really get your mind around this.
All right, well, Jack White, another reminder, the sex scandal isn't the only crime Bill Clinton is guilty of. There are a bunch of financial crimes he committed that go back to when he was governor of Arkansas. I guarantee those statute of limitations is probably gone on. Even
The
if
statute of limitations has gone on all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
focus on the midterms, people. Don't take this bait. Schmucks, listen to me. Don't get fucking distracted by this bright, shiny object. Focus on the midterms. Not Eric. I'm talking about the audience.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Okay.
He calls me a schmuck in private. No, William.
Well,
Radcliffe-
it's part of everybody's.
He doesn't say
vernacular.
plural with me. He goes, "You schmuck." It's a singular.
It's like shalom. It's like shalom. It could mean hello, goodbye. It could mean a lot of things. There's a lot of phrases like that. Like fuckface could be a fun way of saying hello to your friends. It's about tone. It really is about tone.
Well, the Army has that. The Army has something that's hua. And it's like, all right, everybody, you're going to be working here until you're done. If it takes 24 hours, I don't care. Okay, everybody, we're going to go out and hit the bar. So
Okay, that's a good example.
It's different inflections for whatever it is. One word means everything.
Yep.
William Ratcliffe, I think Trump has a plan with this Atlanta raid that will help the R's in the midterms.
Good. We've got 10 months, 9 months.
Well, at least
bro.
he has Tulsi there, and she has put stuff out. I mean,
Sorry,
it seems
you got to put up or shut up at this point. You got a ticking clock now, bro. You got a ticking clock.
All right, Edward McLaughlin with a very generous super chat here.
Eddie,
$50.
What's up?
What's up? All right. If we were like people up in Minneapolis, the protest would be gone. They are not protesting, they are interfering.
Well, they're also being paid, and it's super organized. They found the manuals, Edward, of Good and her wife. The manuals, they were part of a thing called Ice Watch, which was funded by this guy Singham out of China, the former app developer who has billions of dollars and has fled the nation and has become an expatriate, now lives in China. He's been funding this Ice Watch along with other people, Open Foundation, George Soros. But if you look at the manuals that they were involved with in the printing and creation of, they have literal drawings and photos on how to interact and prevent ICE from doing their job, how to use your car to block ICE. All of these things are in these manuals. They're not doing this on the fly. They're training to do this. The training is being done. These are not protesters. Calling them protesters is a misuse of the word protester, and that's intentional. That's intentional. These are people who, like Antifa, are professional agitators. That's what we need to keep using as a phrase instead of the, again, liberal versus communist, liberal versus Marxist. These are not protesters. Protesters stand on the sidewalk with a sign and just stand there. These people are in the streets, shoving, pushing, battling, and being trained by professional agitators, more importantly, with hand manuals like the Antifa cookbook, or what was called the anarchist cookbook back in the day. Antifa's has their own manual.
They're agent provocateurs, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Jack White. There are a couple of books that talk about Bill Clinton, many crimes and Many Crimes, Partners in Power, and The Secret Life of Bill Clinton. Yes, I think The Secret Life
Yeah,
of
but
Bill
they've
Clinton
never
ties
been.
in with Oklahoma City too.
They've never been proven. So these are, salacious books that, while
That's the problem. Is they kind of. Well, the problem is there's a lot of dirt there, but then everything they hear they print, and then it just kind of gets
gets muddled. It gets muddled.
Yeah, it does. Brenda's 6461. All right, or Brenda S. Navy blues might be Mark's best colors. Another great show.
Brenda, you got to stop. Last night you said the same thing, Brenda, but I don't have that many navy blues left.
Well, I dig the Paisley. Paisley's cool. Jack White, and I think it's the last super chat. We're going to be heading to locals, and John Money is responsible for modern gender theory. If you want to know more, read the book As Nature Made Him. Okay, well, thank you, Jack White. Jack White comes in here. He's gone for a while, and then he just comes in.
Jack White's nom de plume is John Money. I just want you to know that he's Mr. Moneybags, John Money Jack White.
I see.
Also known as Jack Green.
Jack Green.
Also known as Mr. Moneybags.
I just figured he showed up because the Grammys were this weekend, so Jack White might show up here.
I just want to say Bruno Mars sucks. I just want to put that out there.
Okay. Whatever. I don't really
just want to go on the public
That's
record.
like people were like with Nicki Minaj. They're like, what did she do? I'm like, I have no idea. I know that
she was being denounced at the Grammys because of her support of Trump, but she wasn't there performing. But Bruno Mars was, and he blows.
No, yeah, I don't doubt it. Well, either way, we are going to be heading over to locals as usual. Oh, I see King of Bilton is in Rumble. You owe us an email. Hope to see you. Mark has Phil Hartman tomorrow. Thursday, I am releasing an interview with Kelvin Pierce about his father, William Luther Pierce, who wrote the notorious books, Turner Diaries and Hunter. Really pretty much an awful person all around. I mean, I'm just saying William Luther Pierce, not a good guy. But
I wonder who's got the really copyright on that.
I don't know. He wrote it as Andrew McDonald, but
right. I know. I'm just wondering where the copyright is. Who's got that? That would be interesting.
That's a good question.
It could be the intelligence services somehow.
Oh, no. He handed over the organization. So when he died, he turned over the organ, and I think National Alliance owned it. I think they're defunct now anyway.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably just out of print.
But the copyright lives on.
I guess so. I don't see anybody lined up to get it, but I don't know.
Find out more on Thursday, folks.
All right. Well, for now, we will continue this conversation over on Locals, and I hope to see you.